it's Angel Vane, and this is episode 102 of My Author's Diary. I am an author of crime thrillers for women, and every week I take you through the ups and downs that I go through as I try to write and publish new books. So don't forget to subscribe or follow me if you haven't done so already. This week I'm talking about book covers. I'm really excited to kind of walk through my book cover process with you guys. But before I do that, I want to give you a writing update. Like I told you last time, I got the comments back from the editor on The Christmas Hero. I worked through all of the revisions that were necessary for that, and it is ready for the next phase of my process, which is the read aloud editing, where my editor and I sit down together and allow the computer to read out the manuscript to us, and we go through it one more time, kind of looking for like line editing, clarity type of stuff before it goes into kind of the proofreading edit phase. And then also this week, I wrote a bonus story that's going to go along with The Christmas Hero. It will be a free bonus story. So anybody who buys The Christmas Hero will be able to get the free bonus story. So I was really excited about that. It's about 7,000 words long. And yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. There's nobody dying, no gunplay, no suspense, nothing like that. It really is just kind of putting the last bow, tying the last bow on Julian and Nina's story for now, because you know I'm not leaving them ever. They were like my babies. I got to keep coming back to them, right? Okay, so that's what I've been doing from a writing update. Now let's talk book covers. The Christmas Hero, right now, based off of plans, and if nothing else goes haywire, should be released towards the end of June, which means it is about that time for me to have a book cover for the book. If you go out and look at the Amazon page for the book, it's just a black rectangle with The Christmas Hero written on it. So there's no cover really out there for people to see what the cover is. So when I'm working with a cover designer, I really want to make sure, and I think anybody who's working with a cover designer, you have to make sure that you're sharing your vision. What are you truly expecting the cover to look like? How do you want it to look? And really share that and be pretty specific with the cover designer, because you really want to make sure that you give the skeleton of a parameter. You don't want to be so rigid, like it has to absolutely have all of these things, and if it doesn't, don't turn it back over to me, because you do want the book cover designer to be able to use their utilize their expertise, right? That's what they're there for. They're supposed to give you their own expertise around what kind of covers sell and do well for your particular story, but you do want to give them some framework to work within. And so the first framework, of course, that I have to work within for The Christmas Hero is that it is linked to Julian and Nina's series, the Hero in Paradise series. So even though it's a standalone book and you can read it separately, you don't have to read the 4 books in the Hero in Paradise series, I still wanted to look cohesive with that series. And so that's kind of the first layout framework structure that the cover designer needed to be aware of. Hey, it needs to look consistent with these books. Now the twist is that this is a holiday romantic suspense. So I absolutely want the cover to convey holiday, right? So it has to convey holiday, have some type of holiday elements to it, but it still needs to convey romantic suspense. And so when I really think about, okay, well, what is romantic suspense? What do I typically see for the authors that I feel or that I'm comparable with? It's a guy on the cover. He's brooding. He looks very brooding. And so that's one piece of it. And so all of my covers kind of have that on it already. I don't do the bare chest man, because what I see in the genre is when you're writing steamy romance, but you have a very heavy suspense plot that goes along with it. So it really is more balanced or a little more suspense than it is the steamy romance. Those covers typically have a male on the cover, but he has on a t-shirt. He has on like a cotton button-down shirt with some slacks that makes him look more like a cop or a detective. Something that really conveys that, okay, this isn't just going to be a story that's all about the steamy romance. There's going to be a big time presence of suspense, mystery, those thriller type of elements in it. And by not putting the bare chest man, by putting the man with clothes on the cover, that kind of codes that type of book for romantic suspense. So, I kind of used the same model on all of my Hero in Paradise series books. And so that model should be on the cover of the Christmas Hero as well, because he is my representation of Julian, and he has on a black t-shirt, and he always looks very sexy and very brooding. Now, the holiday element piece of it, that's a bit different. And that's where I really needed to find some examples of things that I thought would really bring in the type of holiday that I wanted to convey on the cover to the cover designer. And I really started by doing my research by looking at the K-Lytics report for holiday romances. And they show you the top 30 holiday romance covers all on one page. And so I have the K-Lytics report for holiday romance for 2019 and 2020, and I utilized that page from their report to basically get some ideas of how I could convey holiday with the romantic suspense elements. And now the critical thing that I was thinking about, because when you look at a lot of these covers, it's all about snow and the snowy type of scene and snowflakes, and I'm like, so we don't get snow really. Okay, ignore the winter storm. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about the winter storm. But ignore that. Like, I live in Texas. Like, we don't have white Christmases. We don't see snow during Christmas time. Hero in Paradise series is set in the Caribbean. They really do not see snow or anything like that. So I didn't want to be misleading and have any type of snowy type of elements, white Christmas type of elements in my cover. And that meant I had to try to find some examples of what could I put on the cover that would actually convey the holiday element piece of it. And so I actually found two good examples that I shared with the cover designer to give a sense of what I was kind of going for with my cover. So the first thing that really jumped into my mind is bokeh, B-O-K-E-H. That is basically a blurring element of lights, so that it looks really blurred and it's really pretty. And it, to me, it really captures like this essence of Christmas lights and Christmas lights being around. So one idea I gave to the cover designer is, okay, try to get some bokeh lights kind of going with the cover that convey normal Christmas colors, the reds, the golds, the greens, right? So that was one thing that I gave. And then I found two comp covers from other authors that wrote holiday romances that I wanted to show show some elements of those that I thought could be baked into my cover. So the first one is a book by Kelly Callahan. It's Her Secret Santa. In this cover, the thing that really jumped out to me is that it's an indoor Christmas scene. And I said, okay, well, I'm in the Caribbean. Any type of like outdoor Caribbean type of Christmas scene might be like a beach with like, a tree on it. Something that I thought would just look too cheesy for my cover, especially with it being romantic suspense and not like a romantic comedy or something like that. But I did like the element of that this is an indoor Christmas scene. And if we could find a darker one where it's kind of like maybe the lights are off and it's really being illuminated by the light of the Christmas tree, that would be a good element to do, because I could envision my Julian figure, just like the figure on this cover, being in front of this Christmas scene that's behind him, and that could be a way to convey kind of the holiday aspect of it. Second comp cover that I provided was a book called Slaying Mr. Right, and that was by Hope Ford. Now this one does, so it has that bokeh element towards the bottom of it. So if you look there with the light blue, but with the white lights that look kind of like they're blurred out, that's that bokeh element that I was going for. But again, I wanted mine to be more in the red, yellow, green type of vein. But the one thing that I liked about this cover that I thought, wow, this really screams Christmas. And I think maybe just doing this one element on the cover will really make that crystal clear, and that is the diagonal bow in the corner. If I could get some type of bow on the cover, just like there's a bow on this cover, I think that would really convey, hey, this is a holiday book and it's romantic suspense. So those were kind of the parameters, the framework that I gave to my cover designer so that I could get some options for the book cover. Now, let me show you the 4 covers that the designer gave back to me to review and to select from for the Christmas Hero. And I can tell you right now, I love them all. And I love them all for different reasons. And I'm really torn. And honestly, I don't know which one is going to be the final cover yet. I think, I don't know. I don't know which one is going to be the final cover yet. But let me show you each one of the covers and show you kind of what I love about each one of them. And then I can talk about next steps on how am I going to whittle down these 4 covers to the final one that will be the cover for the book. All right, so this is a mock-up of the first cover option. And as you can see, it captures the bow, right? It has the bow kind of really being focal in the cover. I love the bow. I love this picture of whoever this model is, who I've chosen to be on the book cover, looking directly into your eyes, like drawing you in. But the bow really stands out. And then it's the bokeh in the background, right? So the way the lights are done, that's that bokeh element. It brings in the red and the gold. And so truly love this. I think it looks phenomenal. So that's one of the options. Okay, this next option brings in that indoor vibe of the Christmas scene indoors. And so you can see that the Julian figure is kind of standing in front of a Christmas tree. There are like gifts that are kind of hidden behind where it says hero. And it really evokes, okay, this indoor Christmassy scene. And the thing that I really like about this is I actually described the Christmas decorations in Mina and Julian's penthouse in the book, and it's all reds and golds, and I imagine that it would look like this. So that's why this one is really speaking to me as well. Now this third option was a bit of a surprise because I was so focused on red, golds, and greens. So to see this kind of navy, this darkish bluish black kind of being used in the background, like it really spoke to me. I love the stars and kind of that bokeh element. And then the tree, it's like there are like Christmas tree leaves kind of coming in like that onto it. And I just thought, oh wow, this looks good, right? So really love this one as well. And now the final one is here, and this one is like, I just really love it. It has that goldish kind of hue to it. It is an indoor Christmas scene, but it's been completely blurred out. So you can see the essence of, that's a tree behind him. And it's not as sharp as the tree in that second option that I showed you. It's a blurred out tree, which brings in that bokeh element that I was looking for. It is a bit lighter than what I was expecting, but I just think it looks so good. And I really, really like this one as well. So now what is a girl to do? I have 4 covers that I really, 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 really like, and I only have about a month before I need to make a decision, upload it so that the book can be released and put out there to the world. So I think the next thing I'm going to do, I kind of need some outside opinions, right? Because I'm the author. This is my story. This is my baby. It's like, I'm biased. I may be, blind to why one cover would actually work better than another cover. I think all 4 of the covers really do fit very well into the holiday romantic suspense genre. So I think that element is captured. Now I think it's time to get some feedback from outsiders. And by outsiders, I mean my newsletter subscribers. So this week, I'm going to put the covers into the newsletter and see which one they would pick so that I can kind of get some feedback on which cover is standing out to people outside of like my little brain, right? After that's all done, I will absolutely fill you in on which cover came out to be the winner out of the 4 and will be the cover for the Christmas hero going forward. So that's it for this week. If you want to continue to keep up with me and all the ups and downs that I go through as I try to write and publish new books, click the subscribe button. Then don't forget to click that little silver bell so you won't miss when I'm doing a video, and I will see you next time.